What's good, everybody? What's good? What's good? What's good with y'all, man? I'm back. I'm on the ones and twos. Yeah, producer G ain't producing because he's making his money. So I said, you know what? We got to do a show. Me and my dog, we got to do a show. And, I hit
Yes,
up my
sir.
dog, and I got Mr. Skywalker Steele. Let him know who you are, man.
What's going on, Cowboys Nation, or in the great words of the Claw? What it do, baby? It's your boy Skywalker still in the building with my man OG, Big
Yes.
Game James. What's going on?
Hey, man, we're about to talk some Cowboys football. You know how we do. Let me give a quick shout out to everybody jumped in. Everybody jumped in quick, and I love it. I love it when y'all up in here. Studwood Cowboy, Katina. Hey, what's up with you? Jorge Perez, No Dak Ninja, what's good? Steve Arthur, as always, I love you for life. What up, Raymond? That's another one of my homies who I love. James Nooks, Tom Jasper Jr., what's good? Cowboys crew, Cowboys fan 421, Stevie Mac 23, what's up with you? My Cowboys family, I love you. Know I love you, and we're going to be doing the ones and twos on Sunday. But yes, we about to get up in here and talk some Cowboys football. I'm glad you joined me. We already know what we about to do, but guess what? Just want to tell you, I appreciate you, dog. You mentioned something where you were talking about Jaylon Smith. We'll get in that, but I just want to give you props for talking about the Jaylon Smith possible signing and then it coming to pass. So big ups to you on that. I want to give you props on that.
Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. I mean, but that a lot of that, in my opinion, was just reading the tea leaves from inside of Dallas, and
Mm-hmm.
and obviously the biggest tea leaf, Jerry Jones.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. But you still, I honestly, I didn't know if it was going to happen. But it kind of surprised me how it did come out and just bam, just like that. So I ain't gonna lie and say it wasn't surprised. But then when I seen kind of maybe motives behind it, then I
Right.
understood why it did come about. And linebackers are not expensive as running back or quarterback and things of that nature. So I think it's easier probably to slide them.
Well, I mean, you would think that, right? But C.J. Mosley and Bobby
Well,
Wagner,
all
they
right, they're making like 17, 18. Let me take that back. They meant
they reset that market.
Yeah, that's true. But it's still,
Yeah.
even if you look at set probably over the running back, I mean, quarterback they ain't gonna be. But yeah, you say when you talk about receivers, running backs, they are trumping them. I mean, obviously, Michael Thomas got that big signing who's kind of set the market from now. But when you're talking about 17, 18 million, that's still a high number. So yeah, we can't say that. And the props I'm
Right.
gonna give Jaylon Smith is what I was telling everybody that he missed his first year. Second year was really just a recoup year, just to really retrain itself. The third year was really on the real production side. So you really got a really good contract in my eyes for really just really one good year. Not saying you wasn't balling, but his second year when he played, everybody was like, oh, we don't even know if he's going to be all the way back because he don't look normal.
Yeah, well, here's the thing. The deal is an amazing deal. And when you do deals like this, you don't pay for just what they did do. You pay for the potential. I
Mm-hmm.
know the P word scares people, but you do pay for the potential.
Mm-hmm.
So we can't be, we can't get too caught up in, oh, he only did it for 1 year. Let's be real. He did it, in my opinion, for 2 years. The fact that he came back his first year, he wasn't an all pro type player, but the fact that he came back from that injury and proved everyone wrong is something you got to commend him for. And then to see him, be that cowboy player, be that cowboy mentality, and come back and be an all pro, in my opinion, he got hoes for it, was unbelievable. So you're not only paying for that year, you're paying for the potential. And if what we saw last year was just the tip of the iceberg, boy, watch out.
I feel you.
Watch out.
We're gonna jump more on that. We got too many good tidbits on that because I'm gonna go back with you, back and forth on that one with you. But we're gonna jump into that. But let's talk about the big news. I'm gonna switch to it, and I'm gonna play a little excerpt from this. Ezekiel Elliott. We were both on Twitter talking about it. I know you made some extras on it that potentially he could be there for week one. There's been word out in the streets that he could possibly sign being the second highest paid, not the highest, but it's squished in between Le'Veon Bell and also Todd Gurley. But I'm going to play a little
Right.
excerpt from us right quick where somebody said Jeff Darlington says that it could happen. But I want you to listen to what he said because he tried to say, oh, yeah, my guy said at first he was going to hold out. No, he didn't. He said it 3 months ago. Dude, we said that 7 months ago. But I just wanted to say that one more time. But let's
Yeah.
let me get on over here, and I'm going to play it right quick, big dog. And let me see. and we'll see what he had to say right here. I don't wonder if it's going to play on there because I don't even know if it is. Tell me if you guys hear that. If you don't hear it, then I'll probably, can you hear that?
Me, I can't.
Cody, so I do apologize about that if it's not coming up. But I will say this. Basically, Jeff Darlington came out and said that he heard word of mouth that Ezekiel Elliott is going to sign by week 1. He said it's a win-win situation for him because he still had time left on his contract. He's going to get extended like he want. He don't have to worry about a holdout. So he said it's going to be a win-win and that he's going to be happy. Now, I want to ask you this question. Do you think because of what you heard from a few new can I get it out media outlets that this is a good possibility that he's going to sign? What do you think, Will? Do you really think he'll still be there week 1 with this signing?
Listen, we talked last month when this first came up, and you guys nailed it. You were absolutely right on the holdout, and I was a little bit more optimistic about it, but you were absolutely right on the holdout. However, I said no matter what happens in this situation, he will be here, and I'm stamping it right now. He will be there week 1. Write it down, take a picture. I don't give a, as my man Smokey said, do whatever you want to do with it. But I believe he will be here week 1. I think Zeke is just doing what he has to do. I think his teammates know that. I don't think this is a Le'Veon Bell situation where it was nasty. He's not on Twitter making rap videos and coming at the front office or nothing like that. I think he's handling it, honestly, professionally. I know that's going to sound crazy because he's not at camp. Right, but this is what he has to do in the running back market the way it is right now. He's got to fight for his because he might have been in college, but he saw what happened to DeMarco Murray. You know what I'm saying? With the same exact front office. He got 400 touches and he didn't get that contract and then he fell off. So I mean, he's just doing what he has to do. I would love for him to be in camp. I believe his teammates would love for him to be in camp, but I think they understand his situation. So I don't think anyone is really tripping in Dallas. So yeah, I do believe he will be there, and I don't think he's going to miss out on no checks. We know Zeke loves to do stuff.
Yeah,
he ain't missing out on no millions.
I don't think he's going to see. I'm a little I'm in between. The reason why is because I still feel like he's going to be on. They're talking about the average per year or the guaranteed money. One of those are going to have to be higher than Gurley. That's what they're saying for him to go ahead and accept this. So you're saying to me that you think he'll be here week 1. But if they're telling us, Stephen Jones, like we're going to make you the second highest paid running back and we're not going to set the market, why would Zeke come in when he's still saying my numbers are better than Gurley across the board every year? Across the board, my numbers are better than him. So why am I going to be the second paid highest running back in the league when I have been the best?
Correct. I mean, I totally get it. I totally understand, like I said, Zeke's side of it. It's all about wanting to be the top paid back, right? Wanting to be the top paid whatever. That is an ego trip, in my opinion. It's not really anything more, anything less. It's, hey, I was the top at this, for 10 seconds. They don't really care.
Right.
However, I think this deal is more than fair, big game. Like it's more than fair.
I'm feeling you, big dog, but it's like I said, but if you were an employee though, Will, okay, and you were the top at your job for 3 years, the best at your job, beating everybody like across the board, and then you got somebody who was real good, and he got a big bonus and a big pay raise, and your numbers are better than him, you're gonna say, I'm gonna take one for the team because I just love the team and I'm gonna be paid below him. Even though my numbers have been way better than him. You're going to do that, Will?
Here's the thing. These situations are not linear, right? They're not all the same. If Ezekiel Elliott was Saquon Barkley off the field, if Ezekiel Elliott was was Todd Gurley off the field, if he was a Saint off the field, I can understand that. But if the penalty, or not even a penalty, if the negotiation tactic is listen, Zeke, you have 2 years left on your deal, by the way, not 1, and you have been a bit of an issue off the field. Let's not forget the letter that was sent out a few years ago. Mm-hmm. He is one more issue away from being banned. okay, not being suspended for a few games, from being completely banned from the entire league. So that's something that, at the negotiation table, they're probably saying, listen, Zeke, we love you, we want you, we do think that this is going, you're going to help us get to where we want to get to. However, we also stuck by you and continue to stick by you. And if something were to happen, we are doing things to try to make sure you aren't suspended or you aren't in trouble. Because let's be honest, we hear reports about cover-ups. We know, Jerry went to court. He's paid money out of his own pockets. He's done everything, in my opinion, to help Zeke. Now, I will say this: it's not, in my opinion, straight because he loves Zeke Elliott. He loves Zeke's talent.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
So that's where Zeke can come back and say, well, you're doing that because I'm good.
Right.
So it's a give and take thing. It's a back and forth thing. They both have, in my opinion, reasonable things to bring to the table for their contract. And I think if he's getting a hair less than Gurley, come on, take that, man. You got 2 years left on your deal. It ain't like he got 1 year. He's a free agent next year. He got 2 years. We're doing him a favor.
Right. I feel you. Like, it would seem to me that you would go ahead and do this. I guess part of me, that little part of me is like, but I still was the best. And it's not about the ego. It's this: I've worked really hard and I've really put in the work and I've really put in the numbers. So I should get paid the top. But as you said before, I haven't been the best. And if I was an employee and my employer, right, I was the top of my job, but you know what? I was doing some bad outside of work, and I could have got fired, and I didn't get fired, and he kept my job, and he said, you know what? You should have been fired, but I'm going to let you slide. Then I would understand about not maybe taking the top pay, because this man, I could not be working here right now. I could be on the streets right now. So I'm going to have to go ahead and meet you halfway with that, and I appreciate you looking out for me, still making me a top dollar guy, even though I had those transgressions. So, yes, I feel that part of it. My thing is, I'm still wondering if he's going to do it, because that agent to me, is kind of got me leery.
Man.
It's the agent that's got me leery. It's not Ezekiel Elliott. It's that agent that has me leery. And then when Stephen Jones just said a couple days ago, hey, we want the players to get their money, but also we want them agents to understand that, guess what, this is a team thing. And they like having good relationships with agents. Me and Law Nation were talking about how when Dez Bryant, I think Eugene Parker was his agent, they had a real good relationship with him because he had like 4 or 5 other players under his belt that was dealing with the Cowboys, and they really loved that. He cut him and went with the Rock Nation. Right after he went with Rock Nation, it seemed like they were done with him. So the agent does have a big say, so I'm just worried about this agent thing. I think Ezekiel will take it, but if this agent is still in his ears like, nah, dog, don't take it. You the best. You the best. That's when I feel like there's going to be problems. So that's why I'm not 100% sold on Ezekiel being there week 1. Not that I don't want him there. Hell yeah, I want him there. But I'm just not sold on it because that agent, I mean, come on.
The agents are an issue. The agents are an issue. It's funny because shout out to DC True fans in the building right now. We got a bunch of folks in the building.
Shout
Hall.
out.
Yes, Jordan, Mike. We got Tyson West Coast looked in. What's up, man?
What up,
Gabriel,
Tyson?
Alex, what's going on, y'all? I'll bring that up because Jordan, one of my good buddies on Facebook, he said, Jerry, Jerry could be a little, he's that oil salesman. I said, well, you know what? Jerry he pays his players. Sometimes he's too generous. But he made a good point. He said he may say to Ezekiel, listen, we got this deal right here, but we also got this deal if you fire your agent. And I'm like, you know what? That's a good point. Because in my opinion, the agent is probably the main reason why this deal is not done right now. Because you trying to tell me that they go to Zeke and say, hey, Zeke, listen, bro, we got $14 million on the table right now, $13.9 million on the table right now, over the next 5 years. You think Zeke is with what, $40 million guaranteed or $38 million guaranteed? You think Zeke is saying no right now?
He should not, because that's big money for a running back. They don't get paid that no more. Like I said. No. And it's so funny, Will, because the excerpt I posted for the show has him and Gordon on there, and it says the running back quandary, because I feel like him and Gordon are two separate situations, and they even said it. Because number one, Gordon, you holding out, you ain't getting paid, bro. I'm sorry, the Chargers ain't paying you that money. So you might as well just get ready. When you said you wanted to be traded, you should have already got ready to be traded because, number one, the Chargers don't play that. They'll get rid of you in a heartbeat.
Well, and Gordon is not Zeke.
And he's not Zeke. He's not even close to it. You've had crazy injury issues to me. You've only had really one good year. And even when you had the other years where you were productive, I never looked at Melvin Gordon. And I know these NFL teams are looking at like, oh, if we get Melvin Gordon, well, that's the savior. He's the missing piece. No, Melvin Gordon, you are not the missing piece nowhere. You are another piece, but you are not the missing piece. So you should kind of chill with what you want because you haven't really done anything to get no 13, 14. Man, are you crazy, dog? You're not that dude.
And he's also not the straw that stirs the drink on his offense.
Right.
That's Phillip Rivers.
That's Phillip Rivers.
Their situations are completely different, and I hope people are not comparing them because they're not the same.
People are trying to. They're trying to say, well, that's why I jumped out there and said the running back quandary because those two are not the same. So anybody trying to say, oh, well, look at Melvin Gordon, that ain't the same too because we all know Melvin Gordon can't sniff Ezekiel Elliott's jock. I just hope that Ezekiel – wake up. I know you got your agent trying to get that money, but bruh, come on, man. For according to what you done did off the field, and I'm not in nobody's pockets or nothing like that, so please. But, man, if you are did all those things off the field, the commissioner just came and met you again over some goofy stuff. Yeah, we know the dude was extorting you and trying to get all this, but the thing is, if you was never out there, if you never bumped him, we never would have been talking about this. So once again, it's you bringing yourself to light, not nobody else that is doing this to you. And if the Cowboys are still like, we got your back, whether it's just because of your talent or not, you have to respect that and say, hey, they are looking out for me. Let me kind of get this money because it's not like you're getting $11 million. You're right there with the top.
Right there, man.
You're right there,
right
dog.
there.
So make that happen.
Man, there's no reason for you to, in my opinion, if this is the offer, it's a no-brainer. It's a no-brainer. But once again, the X factor is that agent. They want their 10% or whatever it is.
Yes, they want that money, and that's what he's trying to get that money all the way. So we'll see. I'm hoping Zeke is going to be there, but let me ask you, Zeke comes there. Now, remember we had talked about the last time we were on the show, and I said, you know what I'm worried about? You can train all you want. You can train, Cabo, train all day, wake up at 5 in the morning, train till 10 at night. It's not training camp training. It's not that type of training. And I've seen so many guys that have sat out, missed minicamp, missed training camp, trained out on their own. They get in the season, and here comes an injury, whether it's a hamstring, a nagging hamstring, or a foot or anything like that because you're not doing anything like that. Are you worried about that in the least about injuries because he has not been in camp at all?
Honestly, I'd be lying if I said I wasn't a little bit worried about the hamstring stuff, pulling a muscle and this and that. However, and I understand training football is different than actual training. It's not like he's, like I said, and I'm not trying to get on Lev. I'm not trying to get on Lev Bell. But he ain't out here making music videos and partying in Miami. You know what I'm saying? He really is busting his butt. And Zeke has always been a guy that's been in great shape and has tried to keep himself in great shape in regards to football shape. But it does concern me that he's not with the team at all because you do get a chance to get beat, hit around a little bit, get those pads, get a few hits at practice because he's not going to play a single snap in preseason regardless.
Right.
There would have been some type of injury that came up. You know what? Zeke is nursing a hand, so we're going to keep him out. You know what? Zeke is nursing this. That's what they would have did to justify him not playing at all in the preseason. So am I worried? I mean, it's not. I'm more worried about Amari Cooper than I would be about Zeke coming back. Yeah, I know we'll probably get to that, but I'm more worried about Amari than I am about Zeke coming back and doing something because let's be honest, Zeke always starts slow anyway. And we might see a Zeke that has a more chip on his shoulder.
Yes, now
more
Tony
of a chip
Pollard
on his shoulder. Yeah. Yes, sir, than he did in his first 3 years in the league. So if he gets that contract, which I think he will get the contract, and he comes back, he's going to have something to prove with the money or without the money. He's got something to prove to these fans that are all of a sudden a little bit down on him.
Yeah, I'm gonna tend to agree with that. I think he will have a little bit of a chip on his shoulder because everybody's been talking about, and even when Jerry said Zeke, who I think that's motivation. It would be motivation to me, even if you're joking or not. That's still going to be motivation for me if I'm a player that you said that about me. I'm gonna come in there and just try to really go hard. And
Absolutely.
y'all been talking about this rookie Tony Pollard, like he could take my spot. Like people out there saying you don't need me. Yeah, I would definitely be getting on that field. Like I'm going to really show you guys what's really going on. I would definitely feel that aspect of it. So I just hope that I already know the mind frame of Zeke will come like that. But like I said, I am a little nervous. I'm nervous with Amari Cooper with that foot, but I'm still kind of just in the back of my head, like I just don't want any nagging injuries. Not the major. I just don't want any nagging injuries that keep you out the game because we're going to need Zeke. I mean, flat out. I don't care what anybody says. We're trying to make this run to the 6. We're going to need
Absolutely.
Ezekiel Elliott. It's good to have a Tony Pollard, and I feel like he's nasty, going to be nasty. But right now, we need that dog and have Tony Pollard come off that bench like I've been saying. You start Ezekiel Elliott out there. That's a lot better than Alfred Morris, please. Get him out of there. Alfred Morris, get him out. Start Ezekiel Elliott, and then you have a Tony Pollard because then you're starting a dog like Zeke. Then you
Listen,
bring in a Tony Pollard. Oh, my God.
we've been on this Tony Pollard train from day one, man. And I'm gonna say it and I'm gonna keep saying it. He is the prototypical back you want to have behind Ezekiel Elliott. He's not this little scat back guy. And if you guys go check my video out that I made on YouTube about Tony Pollard after this game, I further explain. But Tony is the perfect guy you want behind Zeke because he brings that explosive element, but he's also not just this little gadget guy that, oh, when he's in the game, Lance Dunbar, we're going to send him in motion and throw the rock. No, when he's out there now, it's that possibility. It might be a run up the middle, outside, a pitch. He might stay in for pass, but he might go out and be a receiver. You cannot put a linebacker on Tony Pollard out wide, folks. Also, I heard in OTAs and a little bit in training camp at the beginning, he's out there with the other running back, which means when that other running back is Zeke, what are you going to do? So Tony Pollard, he is the prototypical back behind Zeke, and you want both of them. You see how I keep saying behind Zeke.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want
Mm-hmm.
Tony starting right now. I do love him. I think he'll be a good back if he needed to start, but he ain't Zeke.
Yeah, and like I said from day one, I wanted him to come off the bench from day one, no matter how good he was, because you know what? He's already shared the carries, he's already shared the load, he's already been through that. So it's not like something that he's not seen or hasn't already done. He'll be really accustomed to it. And I just think when you have a rookie, no matter how good you are, you have that vet that really run the game and then kind of just let that rookie get his feet wet slowly. You don't need
Right.
you don't have to freaking force feed him or anything like that. Let him be explosive off that bench, and I just think that's going to be a nasty 1-2 combo. Now let me ask you another question. We've been talking about Ezekiel Elliott. I got this up here right now. What about Dak Prescott? What does that mean? Let's say Ezekiel Elliott signs and he's in their week 1. What do you think that means for Dak Prescott? I got this up here, from Mike Fisher, and he's saying, that Dak is looking in between more like the 30 and 36 million. I like that a little bit better. I think could even be like a 34 million. What do you think that happens to Dak? Do you think his drags out, or do you think he is like, let's say Ezekiel signs? Do you think it'll be kind of like a domino effect with the other guys with Dak and even Amari Cooper?
Well, the good thing is Dak is already in camp. Dak's going to be playing, so I really don't think that it's going to be a super distraction. I got Charles from DC True Fan saying drop Dak. Zeke in the line make Dak look good.
Come
We
on,
we listen.
man.
Come
Don't
on,
do that.
Charles.
Come on, Charles.
Come on,
Let the
man.
hate go, man.
You got to. He's a good quarterback. But that's not what we talk about. We talk about the contract. Let me get
Right,
back to
right.
the
Yeah,
contract.
contract.
So I don't. First of all, are we over the $40 million, Big Game James? Are we
We
over
are we
that
over
big
that because
headline?
he ain't getting 40 million. Everybody should
Okay.
understand that. Like, calm down,
Okay.
man.
Okay, so the reports of the between 30 to 36 is the exact figure that we should have been discussing from day one, and we in that whole headline of 40 million. That I love Jane, I
Mm-hmm.
really do love Jane Slater, but that was like a shock jock type move in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But I think 30 to 36 is about right. I mean, it's his turn. It's his turn. You may not like Dak Prescott. You can hate him all you want. His numbers speak for himself. His play speaks for himself.
He's
He
earned the
is
right.
still a Yes, and he's still a developing quarterback, folks. Let's not forget. After your third year in the league, you are not a finished product.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't believe me, go take a look at Tom Brady, Peyton Manning, Drew Brees, Philip Rivers, Ben Roethlisberger, Russell, all these quarterbacks. Matt Ryan, all these quarterbacks after their first 3 years in the league, they were not finished products.
They got
He's
better
still
and better. I
developing.
mean, look
The
at Matt
difference is
Ryan.
this guy's resume is right there.
And just as you said, when you mentioned all those quarterbacks, like I said, mention Matt Ryan. Look at him now. When he came to the league, that he was like the darling. Then he had a time where he fell off a little bit. Everybody was like, "Oh, Matt Ryan, he ain't this, he ain't that." And guess what? He comes back and beats the MVP of the league. So you can see where you can always continually can get better. And as you said,
Absolutely.
he's only going into his 4th year. And he wasn't a number 1 draft pick. He wasn't a first-round draft pick. And I'm not trying to lay on that, but at the end of the day, when you see a 4th rounder, and I'm not trying to, like I said, lay on that, but a 4th rounder for the numbers he's had, if you took off his name, just erased his name, okay, and said, this is your quarterback and these are the numbers, you be damn happy. If you erased his name and seen what he did last year,
Big game.
67 completion percentage, almost 4,000 yards passing, 22 touchdowns, only 8 picks, 6 rushing touchdowns. So you had a total of almost 28 to 30 touchdowns combined, and you're mad about that?
I do you one better, big game. If you take that star off his helmet and you put a dolphin on there, a Bengal on there, a
They'll be
Jaguar
loving
on there,
him.
a Brown. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. He would be getting the respect, in my opinion, that he deserves. Here's the funny thing. No one is calling this guy some elite quarterback. No one
Right.
is saying he's the next great thing in the world. It's okay to say the man is a pretty damn good quarterback.
Right.
He's just not the one of the best, and that's fine. And if you want to say, well, he wants to get paid like one of the best, that is literally every single young player in the entire NFL. They
Right.
all want to get paid like that. Sorry that his resume is really good to where he can go to the negotiation table and say, listen, 32-16, 2-time Pro Bowler, Rookie of the Year. I'm only 25 years old. I've thrown for
NFC East
35.
champion twice.
I'm the only quarterback to throw for 20 plus touchdowns and rush for 5 plus the first 3 years. Like, he's got all these accolades to boot, and he still can get better. Okay, so sorry that his resume looks like that, and he's asking to be paid as one of the better quarterbacks in the league. You can't be mad at him.
You can't be mad at him, and I don't. I just, like I said, I just don't understand the hate. I can understand where people say, "Yeah, he needs to improve." Yes, we understand that. Like you said,
Yes,
nobody's
absolutely.
sitting there saying that he's a top 5. I'm not saying he's a top 5. I'm not saying he's a top 10 because I don't think he's a top 10 quarterback. But he's getting there. I feel like he can hit there. I feel like he can move his level up. I think his meter is still continuing to grow, and I think the Cowboys understood that, and they want to maximize his talent. That's why they put Kellen Moore and they got rid of Scott Linehan. That's why they brought in John Kitna. They are trying to do everything around to make him successful. And even when you named all those quarterbacks that are really great quarterbacks, guess what they had? They had weapons too. You had Ben
Yep.
Roethlisberger. He had Le'Veon Bell
Coaching.
for how long? He had Antonio Brown
Coaching.
for how long? Coaching, players, Drew Brees, yeah, Michael Thomas, Kamara. You mentioned Aaron
Sean
Rodgers.
Payton.
I mean, you've had tons. These guys have had players with them, so it's not like they were just a great quarterback and saving their team every game. They had players around them. That's why they were going into the playoffs. And even when I mentioned Drew Brees, as great as he was, he had 3 years not too long ago where they were 7-9. They just recently got back to the playoffs. They were 7-9 3 straight years with Drew Brees. How come nobody's saying nothing about that? He was throwing for 5,000 yards, but they weren't.
There you go.
Yeah, you were throwing 5,000 yards, but you weren't getting to the playoffs. I'd rather my quarterback throw for 3,500 yards and get into the playoffs every single year and competing. That's what I want. And Dak is a winner. I'm not trying to say he's the best thanks to sliced bread, but he's a winner. He's getting better, and I think he's going to have a career year, in my opinion. You know why? Because I think he's going to take a lot more chances because John Kitna has given them that confidence. John Kitna has said, let it rip. I had quarterback coach Mike Morris told me, let it rip. Don't be scared. I pay you to throw that ball here. You do it. Don't worry about it. I'll take the heat.
Right.
And that's what he's telling Dak Prescott. And if you're a quarterback and your quarterback coach comes at you and tells you, I got it. I'll take the bullets. You play football. That's not going to give you confidence to do more and be more comfortable in that pocket?
Right. Right. Like Charles says, if progress isn't made, I think you find another one after that. Of course, if after 3 years, you give him 3 years. Of course, or Charles, whatever whatever you want me to call you here. Of course, if progress isn't made after 3 years, you can get rid of it. And that's another reason why I think we should calm down on the contract. You think they're going to make a contract that they can't get out of in 2 to 3 years? No. Actually, if you go look at, and I think it was Bobby Belt who put out a tweet. He said, if you go look at the, I believe it was Stafford, the Jimmy G,
He talked about
the
Jimmy G. That
and
contract,
Dalton,
yeah, they can
and
already get rid of them. They
yes,
could have
they
been
can
got
get
rid of
out
them
of
with
it.
no recourse. Like the cap money, dead money would not even been that high. So when people
Absolutely.
are up in arms about, oh well, we're gonna now you signed Dak to that, and you ain't gonna be. No, you're not, because just like you said, Stephen Jones, and this is what I said before, you're not gonna have Stephen Jones, who busted his tail to tell his daddy, stop going crazy with these contracts with these people. Do not draft Johnny Manziel. We need an offensive lineman. We need an offensive line. We need an offensive line. That was Stephen Jones saying that. Even probably Will McClay was probably saying that. You build the line, you build a team from the trenches. That's where you build the team. And that's what happened. So you really think that they would do all this to get out of salary cap, quote unquote, hell, to go right back in it by over signing? Stephen Jones says we are not doing that. We are not going to sign regular peoples to these astronomical contracts. That's what he said. So they're going to stay true to it, and they're going to have it out. Even with DeMarcus Lawrence, you look how he got paid. He's really getting paid $67 because he's not going to see the life of that contract.
No, here you go.
Go ahead.
Look at Jalen's contract.
Right.
Go look at Jalen's contract. That is the blueprint, ladies and gentlemen, to how we pay everyone. And all these people outside of Dallas, because I think most smart Cowboy fans that are up to following everything understand we can literally pay who we want to pay. Okay, we know that. But you say, well, how are they going to do it? Look at Jalen's contract. That is exactly how it's going to get done. Did we get into his details yet?
No, we didn't.
We didn't. Let me real quick. Let me touch on his details. Okay, Jaylon Smith's contract will not hit the cap above $10 million until the year 2022. Okay, we get Jaylon Smith the next 3 years at a $2.5 million cap hit, a $9.8 million cap hit, and a $7.7 million cap hit. Those are his cap hits in the next 3 years. After that, from 2022 to 2025, it's 11-8, 13-6, 12-6, 12-3. For, in my opinion, an elite linebacker. Ladies and gentlemen, that is mastery. That is mastery when it comes to managing the cap. You gave him a great contract. He got paid really good for annual salary. He got a really good signing bonus, and he's like number 2, I think, in guaranteed money. But it does not hurt your team. That is exactly how we are trying to structure these deals. They're not easy. Okay, this isn't something that we can just snap our fingers and these deals get done that way, because everyone wants a piece of the pie. And as Jerry said the other day, that little bit of that pie is starting to trickle down a little bit. You know what I mean? People eating at it, so y'all better come to the table and get your piece. Okay, because this is how we're doing business. We're not doing business like we was doing business 10 years ago. Steven is not with it. So yeah, Dak is going to get his, but they're not going to overdo it. Okay, well, as soon as it happens, it won't matter. There's going to be fans in Cowboys Nation that says they paid him $1, we paid him too much.
Exactly. And I listened to a few comments on here. Shout out to everybody on here. Thurston Howe III, Derek Clegg, Holick Gang, Stevie Mac 23. What's up with you? Pat Hullaby, Mark Smith, James Nooks. I appreciate everybody. Sheila Neal, Gambino. What's up with you, big dog? Just listen to a lot of the comments. When I hear people say, well, Holick Gang says, I love Dak, but you can't pay him more than Russell Wilson as of right now. I mean,
that's not the point.
That's not the point.
That is not
like, this is not the
how
point.
that works.
Right. This is not the
point.
point.
Remember that commercial? What's that commercial with the old toilet? That's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
No, old lady, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works.
This is not how it works. Listen, time out. Let me give you the real.
Give me the real.
Let me give you the real. Me personally, if it could be done this way, I would not pay Dak until after this year.
Yeah.
That's just how I would do it.
I wouldn't have a problem doing that either. And I think but did you listen to Jerry? Before all three of these guys were, about a week ago, he said we're okay if they want to go into the whole year and just kind of betting on themselves, because they did it with DeMarcus Lawrence. I think somebody said that in the comments as well. They let it happen with D-Law. I mean, they let it really happen with Byron Jones. He's really doing it on his own. Really, he's doing a prove it deal because he did it last year. They want to see it again another year. So I definitely feel like they can go into the season like, go ahead, Dak. We don't have to pay you. They don't have to pay Dak, and Dak is practicing and playing. So obviously, it's not not that huge of a deal because if
Bingo.
it was, he would have been sitting out, correct?
There you go. Exactly. See, that's where I think people are getting a little bit crazy here. Okay, he does not. Dak is not saying pay me or I'm not playing. No, Dak is doing the thing that the Cowboys front office is doing. Hey, we'll bet on ourselves. You want to bet on yourself? That's fine. Or we could come to the table, get ahead of this thing, because we know if they get a contract done today and he's the second, third, fourth, whatever highest paid. Guess what, folks? Next year, he's going to be the 7th highest paid. The following year, he's going to be the 12th highest paid. And then we'll be talking about how Sam Darnold, who is 56 and 72, is the highest paid quarterback in the NFL.
Exactly, and they're going to be saying Sam Darnold don't deserve it. He ain't really did nothing. But guess what? The quarterback market says he is, so he's just going to get the money regardless. And as I said before, when people throw out these numbers, if you say Dak Prescott shouldn't get Russell Wilson money, then you know what? Jimmy G should have never got 27. Derek Carr should have never got that money. Those guys, Kirk Cousins, dang sure shouldn't have got paid. Guaranteed money, and they ain't did nothing. So if you look at those guys and they're not winners like Dak is, then yes, Dak should get that money. And just as you said before, people calm down. Stop worrying about, oh, he's getting paid more than Russell Wilson. Don't worry about that because as you said, next year his numbers are going to drop. And then the year after that, it's going to take at least 2 years, and he's going to be right back in the middle of a middle tier.
10, 12.
And if he balls out the next 2 years, y'all going to be like, that's a bargain.
Yep.
Look at Tyron Smith.
And that's why I'm okay with if I'm okay if Dak says, hey, I'm gonna bet on myself. I'm okay if the front office says, hey, that's cool, I'm fine. Because in my opinion, that's only going to push Dak Prescott to be that much better. Okay.
We should get the best.
It's a win-win. If Dak gets a contract, he is going to push himself to make sure that he shows to Cowboys Nation, to himself, to his family, his friends, to the front office, that he is worthy. If he doesn't, he's going to do the same thing to those same people to show that he is worthy to get the contract. So it's a win-win if he gets the contract, and it's a win-win if he doesn't, in my opinion.
We agreeing on that one because that makes me, like I said, people are wigging out about the Dak Prescott thing. Don't, because as you said before, it's a win-win. When you really look at it, he's betting on himself. If he flops, they're not going to pay him that money. You get what I'm saying? So if anything, people, y'all should be happy, the haters, that he's doing this on his own, because if you're saying that he's the quarterback that he's not, then why are you getting mad? Then he wouldn't get this money if he's the quarterback that you think he's not, because he's not getting it right now and he's betting on himself. So if you think he's not a good quarterback and he's betting on himself, then you should be excited, you haters, because you should say, then he ain't going to get paid. But I don't believe that. I feel like he's going to have a career. He believes in himself, and he feels like I am going to get that money, and I'm going to prove it, and I'm going to show it. And I like a guy, and a quarterback especially, that's willing to do that, not to be scared saying, oh, I'm going to just take this number because I'm worried. No, guess what? I'm going to gamble on myself right now in my 4th year. I'm going to gamble on myself because I think I can do it. Why wouldn't you like a quarterback that has that type of mentality?
And with all that said, folks, and I gave you the real on what I would do, I still think he gets a deal done, folks. And you can hate it, you can whatever you want. I think a deal is going to be done by week 1. If not week 1, probably right after that, because I don't think they want to go into the season with Dax over their head. I think they want to get a deal done. They will. I don't think they're going to panic if they go into the season with it, because like I said, they're okay betting on each other, both sides of the table. But I think they want to get all these deals done so they can know where they're at moving forward. Because when the season starts, the front office, those guys like Stephen Jones, yes, they're watching the games and everything, but then once the season starts, they start to look forward to the following years. Who do we want to pay now? Who do we want to extend now? And things of that nature. And they don't want to still have to have Dak Prescott hanging over their heads if they don't have to. So I think they'll come to an agreement before week 1.
That's a good point. All right, so I'm going to jump on Jaylon Smith right quick. You were breaking down his numbers. I got his numbers right here. I'm going to show them for the folks out there, just what you were kind of talking about. If you can see these numbers right here, I mean, that's a beautiful thing. I mean, look at that. I mean, that's a great deal by the Cowboys made, and I like how both of them work together. And the thing with Jaylon Smith is, to me, he had a lot of business outside of the Dallas Cowboys. A lot of business investment. He's a smart businessman. Jaylon Smith is a smart businessman, and he is really got his endorsements and his off the field stuff really going on. So I think that's another reason in my heart, might be wrong. I think that's another reason in my heart that you're like, I don't have to go crazy with like that because I got other residual money coming in. When you see Tom Brady, everybody talking about, well, Tom Brady's only getting paid $20 million. Look at him, he sacrificed for a team. Well, when your wife makes like $10 to $15 million, you can sacrifice
More than
like
that.
that. You feel?
She's worth a couple hundred.
I'm just throwing. I don't know the low. I'm just throwing low numbers. But if your wifey is making that much money, heck yeah, I'm gonna say I'm gonna do what's best for the team too. When my wife getting big money like that, I'm gonna do all that too. But a lot of these NFL players don't save. This is their only kind of money. And
public enemy number one is Patrick Chung. I don't know if you've seen that report.
That cocaine charge. Oh my God, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Hey, you supposed to be big game, not Rick James.
I just cocaine, hell of a drug. And that's crazy that happened. That just goes to show there's a lot more people probably doing cocaine up in that league because they said they only really do like one drug test. So they said it's not really stringent. So I'm sure other people are doing it. Just ain't got caught yet. And this is just one of those things.
Patrick Chung thought he was Pablo Escobar or something.
Pablo, yeah, he definitely was Pablo. I wonder how deep that's going to get. I wonder how that's going to play out, especially with him playing on the Patriots. Let's see how that plays out because daggone well, if a Cowboy got caught with a cocaine at the crib, you in trouble. I want to see what happens with Patrick Chung now since he played on the Patriots because to me, did Bob Kraft get off?
Sam Hurd. That's what happened.
I mean,
remember Sam Hurd?
Oh, I remember
saying the same thing.
Oh my gosh, he was pushing keys, big dog. So we'll see.
But let's get back to Jalen's contract.
It's all good. Jalen's contract, like I said, it was a good thing. I think he had a lot of residual income going outside of this. But I am just really happy. I talked about this a couple days ago. Just really happy for Jaylon, man, because so many people said, it's over. I mean, I remember when he came back last year. I mean, not last year, but 2018? 2017.
27 was it? Came back 2017.
2017. So his first year back, you saw people were like, "Oh yeah, he got 9 tackles," but they're after the line of scrimmage. And I was listening to 105, the fan. They're like, "Oh yeah, he's done. He ain't coming back." I just want to love to listen to those guys again because those were the main guys that were killing Jaylon Smith. Those were the main guys saying that Jaylon Smith would never come back. They said after 2 practices,
Brian Broaddus.
Oh, all of them. And Broaddus said Broaddus didn't even like the pick. Broaddus didn't even like when they drafted Jaylon because he didn't think he was going to be able to come back from that injury.
He loved Miles Jack.
And where is he? Ain't nobody even talking about that. No, I'm just saying, ain't nobody even talking about him no more. Remember, he was the darling of the league. Miles Jack's going to be the next great. Now you ain't even heard about him and look at Jaylon Smith. That's a good laugh on my part. But just to see Jaylon come back from that injury, battle back, even the first year when he was on the field, a lot of people were doubting like he ain't gonna come back. But I told a lot of people, and we were even saying this on Silver and Blue, we said do not look at his first year on the field. Don't even look at that year because it's not gonna matter because his mind is gonna be more faster than his body. His mind is gonna be everywhere, but his body's just not up there yet. Now you see the body and his skills have caught back up. He's rehabbed from the injury. Now you're seeing Jaylon Smith, and as you said before, they're paying on potential because if you saw what he did last year coming from an injury like that, you could only think, well, dang, I could see you being a 140 tackle guy every single year.
Right. I think he will be. Definitely playing next to LVE because there's going to be guys trying to run away from him, running right towards Jaylon Smith. So, I think the deal is an amazing deal. I'm happy for him. I mean, but just everything else aside, I'm happy for this guy, man. Because when he was drafted, I was happy we drafted him. Believe it or not, at first,
so was I.
Like, wait, I didn't think we were going to take a risk on him, but I'm like, if we took the risk in the second round, they know something we don't know. And then it came out that Dr. Was it Andrews? Was it or Cooper? Dr. Cooper was the same doctor that did our doctor was the same doctor who did the surgery. And I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and rock with it. If they believe he's good, I'm gonna wait it out. And it was a struggle that first year. Everyone was down on him. But in my opinion, I thought it was a success story that he came back. And then last year happened. And then last year happened.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it was smart. Was it last week when I said this is the guy we should probably get out in front? I think it was a smart deal because he was only going to command more money. But I think he said, you know what? Like you said, he's a businessman. He's a businessman, and he said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and bet on myself because
Mm-hmm.
that's what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna bet on myself and take this contract now. And instead of betting on his football self, he's betting on the business side of himself and saying, I'm gonna let this Cowboys brand continue to raise my brand as well as already get paid by Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because that's what's happening right now.
Mm-hmm.
He could have played this out,
Yep.
risk whatever and try to get more. But I think he said, I want to be a Cowboy for life. I'm getting paid well enough to be successful and have my family and my kids be well taken care of. And I'm also going to continue to build my brand with the best brand builder, Jerry Jones.
Yes, and that's the truth right there. Let me give a few shout outs. What's up, Miss Scouting Pro? She actually graced me by coming in. I appreciate you. She's told me that Miles Jack played in a championship game, though. For sure. Yeah, he did. But at the end of the day, he's not doing anything right now. Now, I'm not saying he kind of fell off. I'm just making the point of they were comparing the Jaylon Smith and Miles Jack and basically were saying, well, look at what Miles Jack did. He had the microfracture knee, and he's doing way better than Jaylon. They were just kind of, to me, slighting Jalen. And now you're
Right.
really seeing – to me, the cream of the crop, I felt like Jaylon Smith was a better player than him in college. I mean, he was a top 5 player. So I think that trump of the ability is going through and showing now. And as you said, he's betting on himself. Yeah, I'll take a lower deal because I got other residual coming in. But I believe in myself. I feel like I'm going to do this every year. So when that next extension may come around, I'm going to be talking to y'all, and it ain't going to probably be cheap this time. You get what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah. I'm gonna do a shout out myself to Stevie Mack. Stevie Mack, man, listen, he's been great. He's been commenting on my page, following my,
I love Stevie
subscribing to
Mack.
my page. Yeah, he's great. You definitely said he would not. You said if he's following you, he's definitely somebody that's going to be active, and he has been active. He says Sean Lee, LVE, Smith, Marshall Lillard, Gifford Phillips. Yeah, good luck dealing with our linebacking group. Yes, I think this linebacking group is the most talented linebacking group we've had since what Dat Win and
Dexter
was it
Coakley.
Dexter Coakley? Like
Mm-hmm.
I mean this linebacking group is nasty, dog. It's nasty, and I'm excited for it. Even if here's the thing, this is how you know it's a good linebacking group. If Sean Lee get hurt, oh well, I really don't care at this point. He's a luxury. He's a cherry on top.
Yeah, I hear you with that. Now, the names that he mentions, I don't know if Phillips still makes the team. Now, I want him to, but I do listen to Spagnola. I ain't saying they the end all, but they do have the close ear. I
What's
want
Spag
Phillips.
saying?
Yeah, Spags is saying that what everybody likes Phillips, but they don't know if he's going to make that cut. You got Sean Lee there. You still have Thomas. You got Marshall Lillard, who they do like. I think the factor is that Covington kid. What are they going to do with him? I personally
I think he's
think
cuttable.
he needs to be cuttable. They even shouldn't even drafted him last year. I mean, to me, that was a wasted 5th-round pick. I'm in Big Ten country, okay? So I see Big Ten
Hmm.
football, and I seen him at Indiana. Nothing was impressive. And when they drafted him, I was like, why? He's just a special teams player and should be cut. So the fact that he made it a whole nother year, you got this Phillips guy who's around the ball everywhere. He was like that in college. You get what I'm saying? And he's everywhere. Already got Covington's hurt again, and this guy's come in. He's got I believe 12 tackles in 2 games, and he's barely starting and coming in in the second quarter type. Third quarter
Wait,
type and getting these tackles. You feel
is
me?
this breaking news? Did you see Miss Scouting Pro? She says Justin Phillip is on a crutch and a giant walking boot.
Oh man, did this just
Um,
happen, Miss Pro? Because I didn't hear about that. Let me know,
yeah,
Miss Pro, because
that's
she be on it. So let me know. That's that's bad because you already got Gifford, who I think they're gonna probably have to IR to keep him on the team. They're probably gonna have to
that's
IR him.
and that's what I was going to get to. You said how are we going to get Justin Phillips on the team? I was going to say you IR Gifford. You know what I mean? And that way you protect him, and you obviously cut Covington. I think Covington is an easy cut, but this is brand new news to me. If he is in a walking boot and on a crutch, that cannot be good. That might be the person we actually IR now.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So that's going to be a tough little situation between them two because I don't want to lose
we'll
either one of
follow
them.
that.
You get what I'm saying? Especially Gifford. I really love Gifford. I love I liked him at training camp. I was looking at him like he looked like an LVE clone, sideline to sideline guy. It's just, man, it's unfortunate he got a freaking high ankle sprain because those are the
Uh,
worst injuries, man. They take forever to
Two of
heal.
them.
Right.
Him and Phillips. That's tough. That really sucks.
Yeah, so that's
Breaking news. Thanks, Miss Pro.
Thank you, Miss Pro. Appreciate you on that. That just dampened my day, though. Thank you for the info, but that dampened my day. So let's jump into the game. We've been talking about the players, Jaylon Smith, all these guys, everything wooty woo. But guess what? We got a game to play. Houston Texans, third game. This is supposed to be the dress-up game where a lot of the major players, the stars, the starters are going to be playing the majority of the game. What do you think, and what's your outlook on the game? What are you kind of looking for in the game? Any particular players are you looking at? Are you looking to see anything from anybody? What's your kind of expectation? Do you think Kellen Moore will show anything in this third game? What's your kind of outlook on this game coming up?
Well, to answer the last question, I don't think Kellen Moore is going to show much of anything. And I start with that because I'm looking for certain aspects of the game. I'm looking for more big plays from the offense. Okay. Now, like I said, I know it's going to be a vanilla offense. All right. But as a fan and for fan morale, we want to see those chunk plays, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to see them from guys like Cobb and Pollard. And as I believe it was Miss Pro said, the tight ends.
We only got one.
And
they're all
exactly. Hurt. She made a point that there's some one tight end that's going to be interesting, but I just want to see some more chunk plays. I don't need Kellen to bring everything out. I am actually very optimistic. I went from being cautiously optimistic to being very optimistic that Kellen is going to do enough to make this offense go from being a 20-something offense to being in that 12 to 10 range by strictly just moving motion before the snap and post-snap creativity. I don't need to see any trick plays, but his creativity in the post-snap, I can see Kellen Moore making this offense better. So I don't want him to show us too much, but I still want to see more chunk plays from the offense, and that starts with Dak. So I want to see Dak become, stay more efficient. He's been efficient this postseason, this preseason. He's 9 for 9?
9 for 9 right now.
9 for 9. Now I understand that's nothing. He has no touchdowns. I get it, but he's been efficient. And I talked about in one of my last videos his improved footwork. So I want to see his footwork continue to improve because week 1 and week 2 in the preseason, you see that work that John Kitna is putting in. You know what I mean? You see it. You can tell that he is really, really focusing in on it, and he's way more calmer in that pocket when he delivers the ball. It's not those happy feet. It's not that big giant windup. It's helping his release. So I want to see that stuff continue to go on in week 3. So that's some of the things I want to see on offense in regards to general. What do you have your eyes on in regards to the offense?
I think I want to see more of Dak just because I do like the progression that I've seen, and I like to see him for more than a series. I want to see him for a full half. Like you said, I like to see us get some points on the board. I liked the first game that the Cowboys played when it was against the Niners. He did a really good play. I don't know if other people watched it, but I think it was like maybe the second play. And that, to me, it showed maturity. He was looking over the middle. I believe Tavon Austin was doing a slant over the middle, and he had the man beat, but there was a linebacker sitting there, and he was ready to jump the route. He was watching Dak. He was waiting for Dak to try to throw that ball because he would have jumped that route. Dak looked there and pumped it because he looked like he was going to throw it, calmly readjusted himself, hit Gallup for like a 10-yard gain, first down. To me, that's the maturity that I like to see. You saw that right there. You could have threw it. You pulled it back. You were not just happy feet. He was calm. He stood strong in the pocket. Right. He just delivered a beautiful pass. I want to continue to see more of that. I want to see Tony Pollard for a whole half. I want to see him for a whole half. I know we've been geeked up with that he had a good first series. No, I want to see him a whole half. I want to see how he does a whole half. I want to put him in some blocking situations. I know he had the little slip up, but I think that was more of maybe the play call. But I do want to put him in some blocking situations, put some of him in some stressful situations, put him in some situations that's going to not be comfortable for him. That's what I want to see. Also, I want to continue to see Devin Smith. I want to see him get some runs with the ones. They had John V. Johnson out there. I believe, everybody, we still love him. I still like him, but I just don't think he's going to make the roster because he's just not stepping up. I think he could most likely go to the practice squad.
That's a practice squad candidate.
All day. But I want to see Devin Smith because I feel like right now it's that uneven thing because I believe that they're keeping Noah Brown as much as people say Noah Brown ain't going nowhere. They love some Noah Brown. They like what he brings to the table as far as them be able to keep the 3 tight ends with his blocking. He's versatile. They like that. He can be a receiver out the backfield. I mean, he can do a lot of things, and they like that. They're not getting rid of Tavon. I think the thing is going to come down to Wilson and Devin Smith.
There
I
you
know they
go.
love Wilson, and I think they're going to give him every opportunity. But I think to make the active roster, I think this is the game where Devin Smith has to have a really good game. And if they let him run with the ones, I want to see him get some passes. I want to see them look his way. I don't feel like Gallup needs to show anything. Gallup has proved that he's ready.
Yes.
You get what I'm saying? Gallup has shown that he is ready to take that next step. But I need to see a Cedric Wilson. I need to see a Devin Smith. I need to see those guys kind of battle out and see who's going to get this last roster spot. Now, I know Miss
Yeah.
Pro said we had – my bad. I know Miss Pro said we had one tight end, but we have that Lucas kid. I don't know if he's hurt. I want to see him, the one that was wearing Rico Gather's old number that Mike White was throwing to.
The new signee.
Yeah, the new signee. I like him. I don't know if he can make the roster, but I like him, and I think he could be a good guy that I would like to watch. And one last thing, the offensive line. I need to see these backups when they get in the game again. Are they going to look atrocious like they did in that Rams game? I need to see Campos and those guys step up because at the end of the day, we got injuries with Zach Martin. You got injuries with Tyron Smith. I know you got Joe Looney and Cam Fleming, but still, you still need that good depth and you need quality guys. And I need to see what some of these guys are going to pan out because they got a lot of undrafted free agents on the offensive line, and I love to see if any of those guys are going to pan out.
Yeah, I think we're going to stick with the vets on the offensive line, the Xavier Sulafilos, the Loonies, and the Cam Fleming. So I think those guys provide quality depth. Oh, and the young guy, Connor, the other Connor,
Connor
McGovern.
Yeah.
McGovern. Yeah, I think
he needs to get on the field, man.
Yeah, I saw a report today. He was out working out, trying on a new brace for his arm. So, I mean, that's a good sign that we might see something here. But you brought up Devin Smith, and if you look at my notes, the first thing it says Devin Smith v. Cedric Wilson, because unfortunately, that's what it is. Now, was it last week or a couple weeks when we did the show? You know how I was about Noah Brown. Don't want him on the team. Don't think we need him. But unfortunately, like you said, you hit the nail on the head. He's probably going to be on the team. They have all but reassured he's going to be on the team. He's their only blocking wide receiver, and they have this thing for blocking wide receivers.
Yes.
Infatuation. I don't understand it. It's really frustrating because all he is to me is a dead giveaway. He's a dead giveaway. He comes in, we know what he's going to do. So, but I'm not going to get into it. If y'all been watching the shows with me on here, y'all know how I feel about Noah Brown. So that means it's Devin Smith versus Cedric Wilson. And I remember, and I heard you earlier say that, Devin needs to show out. I'm going to go the other way. I think Cedric Wilson needs to show out. I think Cedric Wilson has Sanjay Lau in his pocket because Sanjay loves his route running. And Cedric Wilson is a 6th-round pick.
And he's a big boy. And he's a big boy.
He's been with the squad, so you would think he has the nod. But I think Devin has the nod right now, man. I really do. He's running with the ones. He hasn't been hurt. I know Ced got banged up and by a nasty play, but he hasn't been hurt. He's made a touchdown. He's made some plays. He's even playing on special teams. So I think Devin has the nod secretly. And if he comes out and just has a quality game, we may see Devin kind of earn his way onto that roster. So I think it's Devin Smith versus Cedric Wilson in this game, and you want to watch that. The other guy I want you guys to keep an eye on is Donovan Wilson. I want to see if he runs with the ones because Jeff Heath has been in and out of the lineup this week in regards to being a starter, not being a starter, and Donovan Wilson is getting a lot of tick, with the ones, and they love this guy. According to the insiders down there, Dave Hellman, Dave said he talked to one of the staff members, and they said, do you think what's the chances of Donovan Wilson making the team? They stopped him short and said, no. He's on the team. He's on the team. Actually, it was Nick Eatman. So this guy is turning heads down there, and we talked about him before. He's coming for Heath's spot. I really do. I think he's coming for Heath's spot, and I want to see him run with the ones. I do.
Well, I think he's getting his opportunity. Heath was a little bit banged up in practice the last couple of days, and he actually did run with the ones. Now, the thing that they were saying about Donovan Wilson, even when he was at minicamp, and I had said this before, that they were already putting him in positions to see what he could do. What is he going to remember plays? Could he make the right calls? Could he put the right players in the right positions? And they said he was acing that when he was in minicamp, rookie minicamp, and they were saying that stood out to them. And it's not like he was a bad player at Texas A&M. But like I said before, his sophomore year, he had like 5 interceptions his sophomore year. He was a consistent player. He just had that injury his junior season that really kind of knocked him off the radar, and then he came back
Right.
and had a great senior season. But he's been a player, and he's a thumper. He's physical. He has some decent range, but he can come down and lay the wood on you. And I believe that with the combination of Xavier Woods is something that the Cowboys really need. I mean, we've already talked before about Jeff Heath. I don't hate on Heath, but he's better as a backup. He is better when he can come off the bench and make those plays where he's not on the field all the time. Because too many times before, and even I seen in training camp when I was down in California, I mean, Dak did a bootleg. Jeff Heath was right there looking right at him, and you still did the same thing you did against Jared Goff. You looked at him, and Dak walked right in the end zone, and I'm sitting there baffled, like, after 5 years, you're still doing that? I don't want to see that any longer from Jeff Heath. You understand what I'm saying? And I don't know what
He's a backup.
I don't know what the infatuation is. As I said before, Jeff Heath get cut. You ain't going nowhere, not in my opinion, and starting for no other team in the NFL. You're gonna be a career backup. I mean, and you got grace with being a starter with the Cowboys, but you should go back to the bench, and hopefully Donovan Wilson has a lights out type game where they can continue to have that confidence in him and continue to possibly elevate him to a possible starting position later down the line in the season, because I think it could happen. Cowboys will give you an opportunity if you do make plays.
Man, Jeff Heath got naked pictures of Jerry Jones with midgets or something. I'm convinced. I'm totally convinced because there's no, like you said, he gets cut by the Cowboys. He's not being no starter anywhere else.
No.
Nowhere else.
No.
But I don't hate Jeff Heath. I think he's a quality guy. He's one of those glue guys you can have on your team. He's a special teams ace. He can come in as a third or fourth safety and make plays. I'm fine with that. But here's the thing: we don't have a guy. Iloka doesn't look like he's going to make this team. If he
No,
does,
he's not making it.
It'll be a shocker. But keep an eye on Kayvon Frazier. I think we got Kayvon Frazier versus the Thompson kid for that final spot.
Yeah.
But I'm okay with Jeff Heath if he's the third safety. I'm cool. But starting this guy is just ridiculous. Don't do it.
And also, we were talking about the defense, but there was somebody else on offense I wanted to get somebody, please get some time. I know everybody was bashing Mike White. Maybe he, I don't know, maybe something happens this third game. I don't know how much time he sees, but I want to see this Taryn kid. I was screaming his praises.
Steve brought that up.
I've been screaming his praises. I don't like how they have him playing receiver and running back and all that crap. I hate when they do that. Like, I get it, but I don't like it. I don't want him to be another Jamil Showers. I watched him at camp. I'm not saying that this dude is going to be lights out or anything like that, but he's got a very, very live arm. He's got a really live arm, Will. And when you watch him in practice, man, he's got that good movement. I just something about him. I don't know what it is. Just something about him. I feel like, let him play just a few series so we can just look at him. He wasn't the most accurate quarterback at school, but guess what? That's okay. He's not going to be seeing the active roster. He's not going to be anything like that. Let's develop him, put him on the scout team for when we see see teams that have an athletic quarterback. I just want us to be able to get him a little bit of time. Maybe the fourth preseason game, I'm jumping ahead of myself, but I really want to see him, and I think he can overtake a Mike White because I think that experiment may have failed because 2 years, you should have a little bit more awareness than you have after this time.
I think the Christian kid, Taryn Christian? I think he's already more valuable than Mike White. Okay, and I know you say that you don't want to see him be moved around here and there, but that's actually where his value is. He can do 5 or 6 different things where Mike White can't. He can only be a poor quarterback. So here's the thing: I am huge on the Taryn Christian kid. I want them to show something to put him on the team. But where he actually may be most valuable is the practice squad, as that quasi player where we're getting ready to play a Cam Newton or Russell Wilson or one of these running quarterbacks, and he can go in there and play that scout team quarterback. And he can also play that gadget player like a Tavon Austin guy. He can play all those different roles for you on the practice squad. I would like him on the team. However, if you're saying, hey, listen, we got to cut a Jalen Jelks just to get him on, no, we got to cut a Justin Phillips just to get him on, no. Like, I'm not doing that. So I don't know. Stevie Mack brought it up. He's saying that he thinks that maybe we're hiding him. That's possible. It's very possible we could be hiding.
Nobody's taking him. I don't think
No, I agree.
you feel me? Like and if we're gonna hide anybody, we need to be hiding like a Jalen Jelks. We need to be hiding him right now because he's one of the players that I'm worried about. He was a 7th-round draft pick, but that line is so stacked with the players.
Let's talk about that line. Let's
talk
because
about the line because
that,
that's what I'm worried about as far as getting cut and somebody taking them.
yeah, the defensive line is actually probably the most fun group to watch right now from the first quarter to the fourth quarter, and in the preseason. Now we're not getting a lot of sacks. That's one of the things I also wanted to see was the defense. I wanted to see them get home more because we only have 1 sack so far in the preseason. But the reason why I say they're fun to watch is because we got a lot of young guys that are fighting for a spot. Jalen Jelks, Joe Jackson, Taco, Tristan Hill. Is it Randy Walker? Is that his name? The Walker kid.
Yeah, I don't know remember his name is, but his name is Walker, 68, number 68.
Yeah, the Walker kid. I mean, it's a lot of
Daniel
young guys.
Wise.
Daniel Wise. It's just so many guys we don't want to get rid of. But the defensive line. So guys like Joe Jackson, right? According to the insiders, the staff loves that kid. He's going to make the team. So right now, I feel confident that he's going to be on the team. It's a guy like Jalen Jelks that I need to see, step up some more. Now he had a sack. In the first game, and we like Jalen a lot. I want to see him continue to do well so we can make the squad. I think Taco's a lock. I think with Robert Quinn being suspended, those young guys have a better chance of getting on the team. And I keep forgetting. I don't know why I do this because he was a guy I was looking at before the preseason. Dorrance Armstrong. He's another guy.
Yes.
I would love to see make some noise, just so we can feel good about going into this season with these young guys because we're going to need to count on them for the first few weeks of the season. So the D-line, folks, look out for those guys. Look out for the young guys. See how they play. See who steps up because this is the game. This is the dress rehearsal game. That fourth game, they're not going to, special team guys might make their name. But to get into the rotation, this is the game right here.
Yeah, this is the game, man. But like I said, I'm nervous. That's one guy I don't want to lose is Jalen Jelks. Like if we had because we're so thick and they have to cut him, I feel like teams are going to be watching and try to claim him off of waivers. That's what worries.
Yeah, because he's versatile.
He's versatile. I mean, I think I asked him the question when he was at camp, could he think he could play stand-up linebacker? Because I think that's a possibility for him maybe down the line. He could probably do it here and there. And he said, and he said, hey, I'll do whatever. Of course, he's going to give me that answer. But I just really like him. I wrote the article about him, the draft pick nobody's talking about. I really, 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 really like Jelks. I like Joe Jackson a lot too, but there's something about Jelks that I just really like. He's real versatile. When he was at Oregon, he's not a huge kid, but the kid was playing inside. He was playing the zero. He was playing the 3-tech. He was playing against big boys. He had 7 sacks when he was playing inside. They switched him to outside last year. His sacks went down. So you can see the versatility that he can play inside and outside, even though in the NFL he's probably not going to play inside. He's not big enough. But I'm just saying he's versatile enough to do it, and I feel like he learned more interior moves by playing on the inside, and I just am worried about losing a guy like him. Now,
well, they love the kid. They love the kid from the U. They love Joe Jackson.
They love Joe Jackson. He's going to be on the roster. Yeah, he's going to make that 53 man. But Jalen, I think Jalen, the only thing that's going to save to me Jelks is that injury to Robert Quinn. That may slide him for the temporary, and then when Quinn gets bent, then they just put him on the practice squad. I think that'll be his saving grace, and I hope that happens because it's so thick. DeMarcus Lawrence is going to be back. Tyrone Crawford is going to be back. Those are probably your 2 starters, you think? You think Tyrone Crawford is going to be starting on that right end? I think he is.
If he comes back in time, I feel like I feel about Tyron. I feel about Byron Jones. I don't think they come in and start immediately if they're not back and getting at least some type of practice time.
I mean, but DeMarcus Lawrence came off the same time Crawford did, though.
Yeah. Crawford came off. We know. Well, D-Law is a different animal.
Right.
D-Law literally cannot practice and come on the first game and start.
Right.
I don't think we're so much worried about D-Law, but Crawford, I would like to see him get some type of practice time in because what are we doing with him? He hasn't. We don't know what are we doing with him, man. We got Joe Jackson.
Why didn't they just cut him?
I saw that on your show with Law. I don't know if I'm okay with that. I kind of feel like
But you just said what we're gonna do with him though. You don't think we could survive this year without him, or you think we need him this year?
I think we need him because he's good. I don't think Crawford is a bad player. It's just that throughout his entire career, he's never had a home. He's done well wherever they put him. 3 tech, the right defense, and he's played well enough. And I think he's good enough to stay on the team. I think you need guys like Crawford. You need that veteran guy because of a guy like Robert Quinn being suspended. You need that veteran guy in the locker room. He is close with the rest of those guys. He's a glue guy. He's a glue guy. And I know people will say, well, man, he's getting paid like this and that. Well, that contract isn't so bad anymore. We got the money. So listen to this. You cut him, right? You save $8 million. What are we doing with the $8 million? Who are we going out and getting? We have the money. Paying our players is not an issue. As we have the money to pay the big three. Okay, that's not the problem. So you cut him, you lose a veteran, you lose depth. I ain't with losing depth on the defense line.
Okay.
So you know what I'm saying? I would rather.
Does he still? Do you think who's going to be the starting right end? Because DeMarcus Lawrence is going to be the starting left defense, and who's going to be the starting right defensive end? You think it's going to be Crawford or like maybe Taco or Dorrance Armstrong Jr.?
If Crawford comes back in time in regards to practicing, he'll be the starting right defense end. Okay. That's how I feel.
All right, and I want to ask you another question. It just slipped my mind. Christian, not the
Christian Covington.
Yes, Christian Covington. He's been playing really good this year. We forgot to mention him as well. He's definitely going to make this team. Do you think he could start over Antoine Woods? Do you think he could start over Antoine Woods? Why not? Why not?
I think Woods is the integral star. I think he's a starter. I think he's the prototypical one tech for us, and but don't get it twisted. I think Covington and Woods will be rotating.
We missed Hyder too.
Well, I don't know if Hyder's going to be the one tech, but
I know. I'm just saying, as far as DN,
yeah,
we forgot about him too.
Let's count this real quick. BG. Let's count this because we can't keep 12. So let's go deep. Let's go Hyder, Covington, Woods, Collins, D-Law, Crawford, Taco, Joe Jackson.
Dorrance Armstrong Jr.
Right
and Dorrance
Armstrong Jr.
That's 9.
Jalen Jelks. That's 10.
That's 10. They're gonna go long. They're gonna go, and I mean, not anybody of significance because
Robert Quinn, Gregory.
Robert Quinn. Well, I ain't counting no Randy Gregory, but Robert Quinn. So you got 11 right there. They're gonna at least go 9? You think they go 9 long? 9 on the line?
They gotta go long. They gotta go long.
That's gonna be the longest position that they have to go long in.
Don't they have to go long?
They have to because to me, it's just so much talent right there. They have to go long and probably short somewhere. So I think that's
we need to do a show. We need to do a roster.
We are going to do a show after this game. We're going to do our prediction because the last couple of years I've only been off 2 players. The last 2 years, so I've only been off 2 players.
If that's the case, and we talked about him, the quarterback Taylor Christensen or was it Taron Christian?
Mm-hmm.
I can't see him making the team as a third quarterback.
No, he's not.
Because
they're only going to keep 2 quarterbacks. They're only going to keep 2. It's going to be him. It's going to be Dak and Rush.
Exactly. I feel the same way. We're going to go long on defense. If we want to go long on defensive line, you can't keep a guy like him. Can't do it.
No, it's not. No, they're going to go short in some other positions. What do you think well, let's not even get into it because we're going to go into a whole different thing because now I'm all getting all excited about who we're going to keep, who we're going to cut. We're going to do that for the next week, so make sure y'all tune in for that one. You feel me? Let's say the cornerback position. We talked about pretty much everything. We talked about running back. Let's talk about some cornerbacks right now. Who are you kind of looking at? Because Michael Jackson, he didn't play last game, I don't believe. Alumba, who I really, 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 really want to make the roster from Portland State. He was on the practice squad last year. He's good. He is long. Like, have you seen his arms?
Yes.
That dude's arms are crazy long. And he's like the Predator Part 2. You know what I'm saying? Well, I love when I see players with them dreads coming out there. There's just something about that. I like when he's an aggressive type player.
Just turn your swag on 100 with dreads.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Just does something. So, do you think Alumba makes the squad?
A big game. How do we keep Mike Jackson right now?
I mean, this is the thing. You can't cut him because I worry about somebody definitely snatching him. But look at the corner.
Alumba's making the team.
Alumba's making the team, though. Alumba's making the team unless he just does something crazy stupid. He's making the team. So you're looking at Byron, but Byron Jones is not going to – Byron Jones ain't ready. So don't you think that would save Jackson?
The reports down on the inside is that Byron is getting close. And he's not at a point where they're going to put him on PUP. You know what I'm saying? They're not going to pup him, and he's going to miss 6 games. So he's making the team. He's taking a roster spot. He's going to be there. He's going to be in the top 4. So you got the top four: AB, Byron, Cheeto, and Lewis. The question is, are we keeping six? Are we keeping seven? Are we keeping five? How many are we
I think
keeping?
they're
So
going to keep
that's something we'll
5.
talk about, in regards to roster cut. But if we only keep five, then it comes down to Alumba versus Mike Jackson. I
Mm-hmm.
cannot go with Mike Jackson right now.
Nah, he's not ready. He's not
I
ready.
can't do it. I can't do it. And I like him. I like him a lot from the U. I like him a lot. But this Alumba kid, man, he is the prototypical Chris Richard defensive back. So is Mike, but he's ready. That's the difference.
Mm-hmm.
He's ready. He's been in the league already. He's been under Chris Richard already.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? He was already on the practice squad last year. I think he even got called. Did he get called up?
Nah, I think
I
he
think
may have played. I don't know if he played in a regular season game. May have
okay.
played in a one, but I know he was practice squad heavy, and I know Richard loved him from day one,
Yeah,
and he
Steve.
was one to develop him.
Well, so here's the thing. Stevie says this. Stevie Mack says this. They'll go six cornerbacks, four safeties. You know what? That might make sense on the strength of the versatility of Byron if we have to put him back there, and we don't have that much depth at safety anyway. So
Right.
we're not going to sit here and be like, we got to keep Kayvon Frazier so we can get rid of Mike Jack. That's not happening.
Right.
So if we realistically go Donovan Wilson, Jeff Heath, Kayvon, and say Thompson at safety, that makes sense. That
Mm-hmm.
makes sense to go six on corner. But I don't know. I don't know how we keep him if we only go five. If we go six, there you go. Them are your last two, in my opinion.
Yeah, I hear you. So, Miss Scott and Pro, she asked me a question. She says, "Please help me understand what you're seeing in terms of depth on the D line. I think this team is looking at waivers for a right D end." Well, I don't agree with you with that, Miss Scott
Mm.
and Pro. Main reason why, because I kind of have the thought of how the Cowboys do it, and I feel like they're satisfied of what they are. So I'm not going to go on my own projections. I'm going to go by what the Cowboys are looking at. Number one, I feel like they're going to start Tyrone Crawford opposite
Yeah.
of DeMarcus Lawrence because they've been doing it. How many times have we been crying out, "Oh, start somebody over Crawford," but who ends up always starting at the right defensive end? Tyron Crawford. The only reason why he didn't start before because he had Randy Gregory. Okay, so now you got
Miss Pro, have
now,
you been watching Tyron Crawford at right defense end?
I mean, he had a career year last year. He had 4.5
Right.
sacks. So, but he can also slide in. So if he's starting at the right defensive end, then they're not getting rid of Taco. They're gonna play him. I'm not saying Taco's all that, but he is playing better. Dorrance Armstrong Jr. has played both left and the right side. They had Joe Jackson playing the right side, and he was effective. So I
And
believe
let's not forget your boy, BG, the mighty Quinn. He's only
yes,
going for 2
he's only
weeks.
going to be gone for 2 weeks, so he's coming back. So I feel like there definitely is depth there, and they're not going to go after anybody on waivers. Why would they do that when the whole point of them was building this roster on the defense? That's why they drafted those players. So why would
Remember,
they
if you
go look for players on the street when their whole point was drafting the defensive line?
and remember, if you pick someone up from waivers, he comes on the team. So you're cutting someone. Who we cutting? You're not cutting. You're not going to cut one of the young bucks, right? If you got him control of him for 4 years, you're going to risk cutting Joe Jackson to get some 8-year veteran, 9-year veteran.
Who are they
I don't really
claiming?
see
I
it.
want to know who would they claim. If you're asking claiming a right defensive end off waivers, who are they claiming when they already feel like this is why we drafted these players? This is why we built up our stable of players along the defensive line. I mean, that's why they went out and got Kerry Hyder. I mean, that's why they drafted 2 more defensive ends in the draft. Why would they go out on waivers and look for somebody at the right defensive end? That wouldn't make sense to me when they were doing that.
Yeah, I get it, Miss Pro. You're there. You see what's going on. But we can't forget about Robert Quinn. He will be back. He is your prototypical right defense end. And I know you don't want to worry about Randy, but I do think Randy will be back. We can't count on him. However, I have him in the back of my mind. Randy Gregory will be here. So those are your two prototypical right ends. Then you got Tyron Crawford, who can play right in, and he played it pretty solidly, definitely against the run. Okay, you got Taco Charlton who can go over there. I think we have quality guys there. I just think if you go out and get on a waiver, we're cutting someone that we want to keep on the roster. We have control over because you're probably not going to cut a corner or a safety or a running back. You're likely cutting a defensive lineman. And I don't know that you want to give up on, say, a Jalen Jelks or a Joe Jackson for 8-year veteran for essentially a tryout because you have not a clue if that guy is going to come in and you know what he does. You know his work ethic. You know his hustle. And if he's not productive the first 4 weeks, now what? He's just stuck on a roster.
You're
So I
not
don't
going to
know. I
keep
don't
them
know.
long term anyway. If they got a guy off the street, that's not somebody they're going to keep long term anyway. So what would be the point of getting him unless he's like a top notch guy? I've heard people talking about trade for Clowney. That ain't happen. Like, we got to
That's not
talk in
happening.
reality. What the
Yep.
Cowboys are going to do, not what the people are going to do. We have to look at what the Cowboys are going to probably do. So the Cowboys are probably going to keep what they have because that's what they did. Listen to Stephen Jones. He says, we want to draft our own. We want to bring in our own. We want to have homegrown players. It was even a surprise to a lot of us that we got Robert Quinn. Is that not correct? Everybody was surprised when you got Robert Quinn because everybody was surprised at the people that we picked up because the Cowboys have not really dabbled in free agency because they felt like we're fine with what we have. Why do you think Jeff Heath has been starting for so long? Because they said we're fine on what we have.
Yeah, they're
So
prideful about their own.
they're prideful about their own. So I don't see that happening, just in my opinion, my humble opinion.
So I love Miss Pro. She's giving us a lot here.
She
So
go
she said,
hard.
I love it though. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
She says so. We're thinking D-Law and Crawford are ready to start win. I think D-Law is going to be ready. I honestly do. Just listen to him. Listen to him.
He
He
said he
said
ready now.
exactly. He said, "Hey, y'all forget I've been playing on a torn labrum for 2 years. You know, it's not like I'm out there with just my arm ripped off. My arm is healed.
Mm-hmm.
This is just about getting back and getting ready. And the season is a couple weeks away. So yeah, I think D-Law is going to play week 1. Crawford is the one I really don't know because I don't know what's going on with him. There's a lot of stuff is pretty quiet around Crawford.
Mm-hmm.
But and as we said earlier, if he practices, if he is ready, then yes, I can see him being the starter. Someone says Carl Lawson for a 5. Yeah, right. That's not
Yeah,
happening.
right. That definitely ain't gonna happen. That's just not gonna
No.
happen. But am I saying that we have the dynamic players right now? I don't think Taco Charlton is dynamic, but I do like Dorrance Armstrong. I
Yeah,
think he
yeah, we're
definitely
aware,
can.
Miss Pro.
I definitely think he can be a player. I'm not high on Taco Charlton, but I do like a Joe Jackson, even though he is a rookie. But when you talk about Quinn coming back and looking at that rotation, I think it's what the Cowboys want, and I just don't see them going outside the box. Not right now because they've just went so hard with the draft and building their own product. And like you said, the Cowboys are real stubborn. When they feel like they're doing homegrown players, they won't move
They
from them
keep 'em.
regardless. They keep them. They love it. If they're in love with a player, you see the Cowboys, they don't move on from them for a very long time, i.e. Jeff Heath. They love some Jeff Heath. Noah Brown. I mean, there's certain players where everybody's like, man, get rid of them, but they keep them. That's just what they.
And let's remember, folks. Let's remember Dallas is one of the more cautious staffs in regards to their players when they're hurt. If anything is bothering them in the offseason and the preseason, they're not playing, they're not suiting up, they're not barely going to practice. So I do think I know neither of them are in pads right now, but I do think at the very least, D-Law will be playing. I don't
Right,
know about Crawford. I need to hear something. But those guys, if that's the case, are we worried that Cooper's not going to play?
right.
AB, we're worried he's not going to play. I mean, all these guys are being cautious with.
I
They're being
mean,
very, very cautious. I think the one guy that we have to worry about week 1, in my opinion, is
Amari
Byron
Cooper.
Jones because it's a hip.
And Amari Cooper to me too. I mean, he's downplaying that injury, but I have plantar fasciitis and it's ridiculous. And as he said, that's a type of injury that lingers. It don't really just go away. The only way that injury actually really goes away is rest. That's the only thing you can do is rest it. It doesn't really like
Don't
you know what I
don't
mean?
tell Mickey Spagnoli is.
I'm just telling you, I had it, and you can't do anything on it. Like I've had it, and it feels like somebody sticking pins in your foot, and
That's what they
I
said.
mean,
Yep.
it's excruciating type pain. And we know that Amari Cooper needs his feet because he's so meticulous in his route running. He makes those hard cuts. I mean, that's his bread and butter. So that's why they're really being cautious with him. But as you said, I'm nervous about him. I'm not. I ain't gonna lie. Maybe it's just me. I'm not as nervous. I know everybody loves Byron Jones, and I like Byron Jones. But to me, Byron Jones ain't. Well, I might be wrong, but I just feel like the team ain't falling off because Byron Jones ain't there. That's just my opinion. That's
No,
just
you're
my
right.
opinion. The team
No.
ain't falling off because Byron Jones ain't there.
Yeah, remember a couple weeks ago I said, "Hey Byron, take your time, man. We've got depth at corner. I don't need you to rush back if you ain't ready. This isn't the Sean Lee situation from years ago where without Sean Lee, well, we're done. Without Byron, are we done? No. Cheeto is in a breakout type year. Jordan Lewis is very talented. Anthony Brown is one of the better one of the better slot cornerbacks in the league. And like we just talked about with Alumba, he is showing out that he can be relied upon. So if Byron's not ready, that's okay. Um, so I'm not really too worried about if he is or he isn't. Don't rush him back. That's all. Don't
Hmm.
rush him back. That's a hip. So you mess the hip up again, he's done for the year.
Right. Yeah, I definitely feel you on that. All right, so we about to close it up. I appreciate all the good time we have. Ill will. I love always talking to you, man. And make sure, I would just want to tell everybody, make sure you tune in to us on a weekly basis. We're going to be doing a weekly show going on. We're getting everything in the works right now. So kind of right now, we're just kind of giving a little preview of kind of what we do together. It's kind of going to be called Old School, New School. I'm old, he young, and that's how it is. And I love the flow. Number one, tell them where they can find you. Will, I have quite a few people saying they had subbed to you already.
Yes.
I really appreciate that. Go sub to this man. We met a couple years
A
ago.
couple years ago.
We met a
Yeah.
couple years ago. Yeah, I remember when you called in 2017 on the show. It was like real quick, but we had a good talk. And I've been following you since. Always have good thoughts and knowledge. Real professional in how you do it, and I just love how we really work. But tell them where they can find you on all platforms.
Yeah, shout out to the guys and girls that have subbed to the channel. I really, really appreciate that. I'm always engaging with the fans, be it on YouTube, Twitter, or Facebook. So you can find me obviously on YouTube at Skywalker Steele, on Twitter at Because Cowboys. I'm on there daily. I'm up there with all the information, putting all my thoughts on there. And on Facebook, I help run a page called DC True Fans, Dallas Cowboys True Fans. That's facebook.com/DC True Fans. I am active. I love communicating with the Cowboys Nation. I try to keep it fun, entertaining, and informative, and then give you the real. Okay, I'm not going to give you this sugar-coated stuff. I'm going to give it to you raw. All right, like Monday night raw.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm coming daily. All right, I'm trying to bring more content for you guys. And like he said, me and Big Game James, we're gonna be rocking some old school, new school, and it's gonna be awesome, man. The season is gonna be great. I can't
Yes.
wait for it because I know how I am. I know how he is during the season, and I know how Cowboys Nation gets when the season gets rolling. And I'm
Right.
ready, ready
Right.
for that quest for six.
Yeah, ready, definitely ready, and make sure to check it out. We're gonna be at some games this year. I don't know if you are, Will.
Yes, sir. Week
Will's
two,
gonna
I'll be the DC game,
cool because I'm
Washington Cowboys.
Washington Cowboys. That's gonna be a big game. So I'm trying to get out that game too. My featured game I will be at will be Miami, with the Cowboys experience. I got a couple other games down the line that we're trying to lock down. So just please, if anybody is in the chat box and you're trying to get out to a game and you want to find out about these great packages, make sure you get in my inbox. Big Game James, Silver and Blue Nation. Great packages from Barry. Great across the board. Like I said, I met him last year. Great time. Just treated us like we were just family. Treats us like family now. All world, just second to none. And so, if you're really trying to get to a game, please jump in our inbox so you can find out more information about that. Like I said, it's going to be an exciting year. The quest for six. Things are coming together. We hope Ezekiel Elliott will be there week one, and we're just trying to get this championship, man. It's like I said, it's no excuses. Even if Ezekiel Elliott's out, it's no excuses for the Cowboys any longer.
None.
We've seen teams that have hurt players. We've seen people with injuries, suspensions, and still make things happen. This needs to be the type of season where Garrett has to really pull everything together because his back is against the wall. He has
Yep.
to really produce, and he has to really
Finally.
show. 10 years in, I'm not mad at your record. You got 3 titles in these 9-10 years. You have a winning record. I can't really hate on you. You've only had one losing record with the Cowboys, so I can't really hate on that. But it's not about really regular season with Jason Garrett with me any longer. I think you have the talent to win that regular season, but you got to produce in these playoffs. It can't just be one playoff win and then out again. It has to be farther because we have the talent to beat anybody in the league.
That's right. That's
So
right.
we'll see what happens. And just like I said, make sure y'all keep on tuning in. We're going to be hitting next week. We're going to be doing our 53-man roster. Me and Ill Will are, so we're going to be both talking and chatting before and get our rosters together, who we think will be on the team. Make sure you guys join in because we want to hear your guys' interjection on what you think. Definitely Miss Scotty Pro. Get
Hey,
on
Miss
there.
Pro, I need
Miss
y'all, I
Pro.
need you back here, Miss
Yeah,
Pro. I need all y'all back here.
I love all y'all. Y'all all go hard. Great. Stevie Max. There's so many names that are in here faithfully.
Net,
I just really love y'all.
Gambino,
Boothame, Gambino, Miss Pro, keep on coming in. Keep on bringing that fire. I love the people that jump in and challenge.
Woody, Tyrone, yes.
Yeah, I love people that challenge my knowledge. I don't have all the knowledge for sure. I got some knowledge, though, but I don't got all the knowledge. So I'm always trying to listen and learn from anybody. And just because I have a platform doesn't mean I don't listen to anybody that's in that box to say, okay, yeah, I'm going to go check that out. So it's definitely about that. So it's one big nation, Cowboys Nation, and let's get this 6. Thank you for tuning in.
Thanks,
we're going to
Tom.
see you guys next week. We appreciate all y'all. And go Cowboys. And from Big Game James, Silver and Blue Nation, Steele Skywalker Steele.
Out.
We're out. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.
Peace.